A group of badass bunnies.
Chatting it up, y'all.
So be prepared for explicit language
and triggering topics.
Talk bunny to me. Welcome back.
Welcome.
Hi.
This is Mary.
Like,
We're going to be
welcome
cackling
to
with the
Mary.
hens today.
Yes.
We're going to do chicken facts.
Chicken facts, cock facts,
All our feathered friends.
penguins.
Sure. Penguins are cute with the stones. They're adorable.
See?
I love penguins. It's all in the way they walk. The way they talk.
I hate to say this because I don't think we're supposed to like these, but aquariums. Because they're like animals in captivity. You know what I mean? I've lived in Alaska, but the only penguins I've encountered are in captivity.
Yeah.
But I like when they're all staring off in the same, direction.
Mm-hmm.
It's like lemmings at the edge of a
Yeah.
cliff.
I don't know. I could watch that and, time how long they're doing that.
Yes.
I'd like to study that.
I'd like to study that. What do you study? How long penguins stare off?
Put me in the North
The
Pole.
Kansas City Zoo has a very large penguin exhibit,
Ooh.
and it's inside and refrigerated.
Like the whole room?
It's like a whole building,
Oh.
and you can
that's fun.
walk and see them underneath the water, and
Like a gymnasium for penguins?
kind of
You walk on top of them at some points too, like glass
So-
bottom?
So no, they're
I know
under. Wait,
that's a childhood dream.
No,
Did you see the face? Your face was so cute.
Like,
You can walk over.
It's like it's like an underground area where you.
I realize
can
that's
look
how much
into-
I like penguins
You
today.
can look into their tanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's glass and
Well, I
they're
know
underneath.
they were always when you said underneath them,
Yeah.
Her face is so cute. She's like you can walk over glass and they can be on the bottom.
they always have those tunnels
Yeah.
with the things over top.
That was very cute.
Add that to my glass bottom bucket list because I have one thing on there before now, so now there's two.
The boat.
What's the...
No.
I've done a glass bottom boat. Those are cool.
Are they?
Those are, yeah. Someone once told me, and I really don't know if this is true or not, but that there are glass bottom cabins in the swamp in deep Louisiana.
Oh, I would not put that past occasion.
Yeah. I'm like,
No, but will you get to see alligators swimming under there?
I don't know.
Probably.
They so bomb.
But turtles.
Could you imagine sitting there and a whole alligator and just... I would
Yeah.
get so close.
But I
to
would
the,
think-
you
I
can get
just-
real close to the
I would
glass.
think the
and not
water's
worry.
not very clear.
I was gonna say swamp
So
water's
murky.
probably not super clear, but you might get a couple eyeballs.
Just the idea of it
Yeah.
is so unnecessary and over the top, and I'm here for
Why
it.
does that?
Well, what if it's on posts and they have lights? Because you can put
Maybe,
underwater
yeah.
lights, so maybe they got underwater lights running and now it's all...
But then you
murky and
probably,
crazy.
if you had lights under the water, you'd probably run all the wildlife away. Then
That makes my brain go so many places.
Fun fact, we're just going to be full of facts.
Yeah.
we are.
Chicken.
Bark, bark.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want to check this.
I know, right?
Why?
Didn't know I had an alarm set at 3:30. That was weird.
Do you birth control? No, it's like earlier in the day.
Yeah.
Because her thing goes off and I'm like, oh, BC time.
I don't know what
Before Christ.
Yeah, that was weird. Whatever. Sorry for the loud effects. Yeah.
Before.
Because I have not. What's the word? Conceived him
Before-
yet.
Is it consummation?
Consummation sex.
Yeah,
That's
before
like the first
consummation.
time in a
So
marriage.
BC could
right?
be, instead of before Christ, before
I mean,
consummation.
That's how it's usually used. It's to consummate your marriage.
marriage.
Yeah.
Like, as
Mhm.
they used to make you have sex on a white sheet so that they could tell if you bled or not.
Yo, y'all motherfuckers. I am born in the right time
Then-
because I would
but look-
have been burned alive.
listen
You'd
though.
have been like, she's a fucking
No.
demon.
They had ways around that too. You just put some animal blood in a saran wrap and you stuck it to the inside of your leg.
Girls have been tricky since the beginning
Well,
of time.
Yeah,
Because you're gonna
especially
get
because
murdered.
How to
any
survive?
idiot
How
knows-
do you
Right, because
survive?
they would have gotten killed. But
I had the Gardasil shot, was on birth control and everything before I ever even let someone touch my tits.
Well,
I'm
I
like,
mean-
my mom has got this shit locked
That's
down.
great.
That's funny. Sorry, I got highlighter on my.
That's what I do with my phone screen.
Exactly.
I know. It's perfect.
So I was like, it
It's
goes to the boob
perfect.
like every other electronic.
It's the perfect consistency.
Not too rough. I'm just gonna put you down for a minute. That's hysterical. So chicken facts.
Chicken facts. Okay, did you know that chickens have a cloaca, which is a one-hole system that everything comes out of or goes into?
One whole system. That's great.
Call your plumber with any questions. And now we will have Corey spell cloaca.
Oh, Jesus. What a delicatessen. By the way, I just learned at 33 years old that a delicatessen is a sandwich shop and not a fancy item.
She thought it was like the long version of delicacy.
Delicacy. Yeah. I thought it was like a fancier French way to say delicacy. Coming from South Jersey, that is embarrassing, but we call them subs or hoagie shops. I never said, hey, you, Frank, you want to meet me for a sandwich at the delicatessen? No. Or maybe. I don't know who says it.
No, I don't think anyone said.
No.
Like
Yeah.
you were saying, it's usually just
Like a
on
word
the
on the
sign.
side of a building.
Yeah, but everyone's like deli, coffee shop, diner.
Well, honestly, half of the people that I said you're a delicatessen, if it means like fine meats and cheeses, you is a fine meat. So you are a delicatessen.
And you're cheesy too.
And you cheesy too.
You're a delicatessen charcuterie board of love.
It's true. Ew. Ugh. I don't like the cheese.
Talking to my friend before I came here, and she was talking about a coworker of hers who left early to go to the doctor for her yeast infection.
Oh, good for her.
She had to tell everybody about
was
how
gonna-
bad it was so that she
gonna
could justify
say-
leaving work. I'm like, please don't.
Yeah.
I don't feel good. Bye.
Bye.
I know. I don't know why anyone ever gives reasons.
I
I've
know, I
never
don't-
stated a reason in my life. I'm not going to be able to make it to work
I
today.
won't
Yep.
be in
This
today.
is Corey. I can't make it.
Yeah.
Count me out.
Write me down.
Exactly. You know.
Did you
I'll
get
pay
that?
with-
BOYER.
Yeah.
True story.
I will not be at work.
Yeah, because I'm not trying to come up with a whole elaborate shit when I get back. I forget things too much.
And
What?
it's just the simple fact of it's none of your
Right.
business.
I don't have to have a reason. I'm a grown adult. I'm not going to make it into work.
And then whatever that reason is, half the time gets written down on a piece of paper that anybody walking by can look at.
Oh yeah.
Or if you work
Oh
at
my God.
certain places, they just announce it.
Morning
It's literally
Idol.
like, oh, like, good morning. Okay, my mom died. I'm so sorry to hear that. So-and-so's mom died. I'm like,
Yep.
really, guys?
There's
Are you
no-
fucking...
Where I work right now, there's zero. Like it's all.
Blow the whistle.
They might as well have a group text,
That's
just like
all the gossip.
Seriously. What are those tiger texts?
huh?
Tiger text, isn't that what all those residents, the
Oh,
app that that's
oh.
medical,
I think it
medical
depends
text
on-
goes through
yeah.
tiger text or whatever. They probably have multiple.
Replace the trauma activation sounds now are not traumas; they are gossip activations.
Right? Oh, that's funny.
If you see the blue light, it's good gossip. You see the red light, it's like, holy shit, run up to the desk right now. I have something to tell you.
It's not for trauma, it's for tea.
Leave your patients behind.
For the tea. Yes. So back to this one hole sitchies.
Do you really want to continue to talk about the one hole?
No, but we can go to the chickens. Although
Chickens.
I do think it is interesting to note the fact and remind people that this is one for eggs,
Urine,
going to the bathroom,
urine and defecation.
which is crazy.
Just poop.
How many holes just
And
come into there?
penetration.
And penetration. Yep, I think there's like an internal film that
That, like-
covers the egg hole so that like the poop and the pee don't get into the
Like,
uterus.
that's what I was thinking. There's got to be an internal
What
system.
a complex
Because if you
system.
watch,
Right.
It's
'cause
very
It
complex.
is very complex. And if you watch a chicken lay an egg, it's almost like a double eyelid situation when it comes out.
Double eyelid, that's what we have, right?
No, like
On our eyes, I mean, not on our eyes,
For all you men listening.
not downstairs. Upstairs,
Well,
not downstairs.
because-
I think like a lot of reptiles have double eyelids. They have like the one that comes across and one that comes down.
Yeah.
I see what
like
you're
Cats
saying.
too.
Yeah.
Like,
But you
yeah,
typically
Yeah,
they
it's
have
like
to
they
have,
have
unless
like
they
a
don't feel
double,
good.
like a,
they have to have some kind of
yeah.
internal like
Keep that away.
rotation.
That was hysterical.
Like there's one hole and it just like rotates, you know, and you got to plug the light in on the old school headlight boxes and stuff. It's like you
Yeah,
just-
it's the size.
but it's just all like
Flip the
filled.
latch.
It's all filled in one hole that just rotates to what they're doing.
Yeah. Also, fun fact about chickens, they are pretty much blind to everything except for movement. And so that's why they
Make that
peck holes in each
beautiful
other.
noise, too.
'Cause they just see the movement of the feather of their friend, and then they peck a hole in
Bug?
their back.
Oh,
I do have a chicken fact.
I like
You have
chickens.
a chicken fact?
Yeah, I forgot about it. And my friend Riley would absolutely never talk to me again if I didn't say this chicken fact.
Hi, Riley.
Because, yeah, hey, hi, Miles. Because her and I have this ongoing thing about, like, my favorite chicken fact. Like, and then just substitute whatever, like, animal. So she told me this, and a couple other women at the same time. Apparently, if one of their own eggs cracks,
Uh-huh.
and they get a taste of it, they like the taste so much that then they'll like
Break everybody else's egg?
in their own like they'll just go around killing the egg. So if it happens, then what they have to do is they replace rocks. Like whoever owns the chickens, you put rocks in where the eggs are, and so then they're pecking the rocks
they realize
until they
that-
like totally reset their memory, which I guess isn't very long. So I don't know how long that part
That
takes.
is very interesting.
And again, I've never looked this up myself. Someone told me that who's never owned chickens.
I mean, it
so,
sounds plausible.
yeah. We went for the murder.
We went from
podcast.
chickens to murder.
Murder chickens.
Murder, murder, murder.
Somebody tell them it's murder.
Oh.
Anyways, that's my chicken fact.
I like that chicken fact.
I like the chicken fact as well.
Do you have a chicken fact?
Well, just that they get raped. And I don't like it. And I chased a lot of cocks around in my life.
Gosh, if they get out, is there any?
It's not quite a fact, but that used to infuriate. I grew up on a farm and we had chickens, and my grandmom had like 30 hens to one rooster, and he just was on cloud. Cloud nine. His testosterone was raging. His ego was so big to where he beat up the human beings on the property and sparred them all the time, and he just walked around demolishing chickens, and it made me mad. So I broomed him quite often. Yeah, that's my fact. Oh, girl, it was a punt. I'm nice to every animal, but have you ever like they can get pretty girthy,
Oh, yeah.
and you can get up.
That's what,
You.
that's what she said.
And it's the cock.
I always thought they were
You could just-
delicatessens.
Yes, they are delicatesses, but they got them big old butts, and a lot of it's feathers. So a little broom to a feather, it's like poof, they get. It's cute. I like it.
What's the pumpkin like tosser thing?
Catapult? Or,
Oh, I've always wanted to go to one of those pumpkin chunkin.
yeah,
Pumpkin
it does
chunkin.
have a
Pumpkin chunkin.
I just pictured you doing that
catapult.
with the broom,
Yeah.
like harvest.
festivals.
Yeah, I'm not into that. Okay,
You don't like
No.
fall? You don't like
I
the
like
fall, girl
fall, but I
aesthetic?
don't need to walk around.
I love it. And give me one of those ones that's got the honey sticks or any kind of like local honey
Or apple cider, hot apple cider.
with the donuts all warm.
Cinnamon donuts.
Yeah, like if it's like that kind of thing with like craft tables and food tables, like yeah, those kinds of things. People, whatever, music. But like when it's just you're in the middle of a field and like it's just like take your picture in this. Come,
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
come through
like a
our
corn
maze.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, do you want to shoot corn out of a gun? Like those.
Yes.
I mean, I do, but like you know, I'm setting the
Oh my
scene.
God.
That is the best part of those. But like,
My inner Mississippi's coming out.
get your face painted. You know what I mean? Those
Yeah.
those little.
Catch me with a butterfly on my fucking face shooting corn, dude. I'm not gonna lie. And also the potatoes.
A potato gun.
When we used to go up to Vermont, oh my God, they had like those rockets. Even the sound.
So, at the little crafts, because you're from a rural area,
Mhm.
I'm from a rural area. You kind of you got some Mississippi in you.
Definitely.
I'm from
Jersey.
Mississippi, by the way. That's why I keep saying that.
Yeah.
But, so the little craft things in your area, do they have?
Home craft days. That's mine.
Yeah. So ours was tray days. Do they have the little marshmallow guns? They're made out of like PVC
No, ours had
pipe.
the potato guns.
Like people made them out of PVC pipe, and then you like shot mini marshmallows.
Could you
out
do a
of-
blow dart?
Thanks. They had some that were like that.
My dreams would be made because you could shoot just anybody and they can't get mad. Like, you got marshmallow. Grow the fuck up. This ain't assault. I'm assaulting people with
It's
puffs.
just one step up from a bubble gun.
Right. I used to want to drive around with a paintball gun, and then my dad told me it would be assault. Oh yeah.
Yeah, like
Road rage in Jersey. I'm like, oh, I had dreams of just pulling up next to people, especially dudes, and like flirting with them so that they roll the window down. Just blah, 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 and it would be fucking light them up. Just and then.
I mean, it would be fun.
Right? I had a whole elaborate plan. I'm like, Dad, and the only reason I had ever gotten caught on this entire thing, because I probably would have done it, because I was a dick. The only reason was I went to him and I'm like, hey, those things that like flip down over your license plate, how illegal are they? And can you get stopped if it's not flipped down? He's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, none of your business. But I wanted it to where when I took off, I could flip my license plate. And he's like, you can't do any of that. He's like, the paintball gun's assault. He's like, that's eluding the fucking cops. And I'm like, okay. Next plan.
I'm gonna put you on game if you're not from the South. Okay. So there's this thing called snipe hunting. It was a really evil joke that they would pull on Southerners or anyone else who is naive. It's not really that sinister. It can be, but so if you ever go and somebody's like, let's go snipe hunting, it's only at night, don't go. Or you can, but then you'll know what's going on. So snipe is a little bird, and it's a ground bird, and it nests, down low. So they only come out at night. They're nocturnal. So you got to go out there, and they'll come if you call them. And you got to say, hey, snipey, snipey, snipey. So what'll happen is somebody will take you out to a field
And record you.
of some kind. No, well, maybe now they would record you. Back in the day, there weren't any recording devices, but they just take you out to hand you a pillowcase and like a stick, and they'll be like, so you got to stand here. It's in the dark. You can't have any lights on because then they won't come out. And so you just put your sack on the ground and call them. And then when you feel it, like, run in, you close your sack up and you, like, hit it with a stick. And that's snipe hunting. So then they will leave you in the dark in a field
You couldn't catch me.
and, like, run
I'm like, we're not
away.
gonna be friends.
And you'll be out there in the field going, hey.
Just a way to leave you in the field.
Yeah. Usually people stuck around, laughed at you for a minute, and then came and got you. And we're like,
Just enough to make you feel almost like.
yeah, my brother did that to me, too, so when I was very young.
I was like,
That's
we
good.
don't have ground birds where I'm from. That's what I was thinking. At
We got
first.
guinea hens.
Guinea hens.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked
Those are
about
ground birds. I love them.
They're loud.
So loud. But they were, my opinion, like the first security system. You cannot sneak up on a fucking guinea hen. I don't
No.
care who you are.
You're not going to have ticks in your yard either.
You won't have ticks, and you ain't getting inside without us knowing, because those things, and they got balls the size of Texas, dude. Have you ever watched them run after cars?
No.
Like, it
I've
would
never
be a
been-
full duel for me to get into my fucking driveway, because they're like at the front of my thing, and you'd have to honk the horn, and they'd back up a little. And I'm like, yo, you guys are ridiculous. I'm in a vehicle. I'll kill all of you in
You're
one shot.
gonna die, and then I'm gonna feel bad.
Yeah, I
They're
would
like
never. It would just me sitting there fucking honking at these stupid ass hens because I'm soft. So I'm like, I'm gonna back around and go on the other side of the horseshoe and try and chase them because they'd run after the car, but I would just try to get over there fast enough to park it where I wanted.
modern day dodo birds.
Mm-hmm. And then as soon as you get out, they want nothing to do with you though. They'll fight a car, but if you get out, they're just like, fuck you. They're
Walk
done
off
with
like
you.
nothing
Mhm.
happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Not
See
this
here.
one. Not
Yeah.
this one.
No, fuck you. Fuck you.
Nothing to see here. I'm
Yeah.
not talking about.
They're funny. They're cute. And them as babies. They look
Oh,
like this.
Yeah.
Oh,
Literally like this.
just little fluff monsters.
Mhm.
Draw some eyes on it.
Oh, so cute. I don't know if I want to do other animal facts, because if I run off on the cheetah things I know and it's not actually cheetah, I feel funny, but they're pads. They've got really great pads. They also have vision where they can see farther, like peripheral. Their peripherals are nuts. So they can scan across, which I've always thought was so impressive. And even their nostril holes are different, because they've got like cool air intakes in their fucking face. Yeah, like it cools them down, and that's why they can only run for like, I don't know, it's something short, like 2 or 3 minutes, but they're so determined that they can actually give themselves heart attacks if they don't chill the fuck out. They got to give up if they don't get their animal. They got to chill out. Very cool. But their pads have certain things because they got to be able to break and rip up on terrain, go really fast.
It's just fun. Like, how would they know that they would die unless they died? I mean, I'm not saying I don't.
Instinctual, probably.
Yeah.
I'm sure they feel like their heart's about to explode.
Yeah, like
I feel
they're
PPCs
just probably
when I get anxiety attacks.
always on that
What?
cusp.
Yeah, like, oh, what is this? I gotta sit down hard.
Like they're like just reach that cusp and then
Mm-hmm.
have
Probably
to
like,
shut it
shit,
down.
that gazelle really took that one out of me. I need a 12-hour nap.
Can you imagine the road rage on that?
No. Laser focus of just fuck you.
A recent article in Psychology Today by psych Dr. Greg Matos. I don't know how you say that.
MATOS.
Yeah. Called The Rise of Lonely Single Men, Dating Apps and a Drastically Changing Relationship Landscape. But you know this key point here that is my favorite? It says, dating opportunities for heterosexual men are diminishing as healthy relationship standards increase.
Ding 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 ding. I know. We should
Wow.
Oh, wrong one.
Still works.
When you do it, you gotta do it.
Send
Double
it.
down.
You gotta send it.
Going back to like some of the other conversations Corey and I have had, but I'm sure Mary will feel the same. I just haven't talked to her about this. But like how when people who are, I don't know, some people perpetuate these who choose to stay in their relationships, and I'm not negating that, but I feel like then they want to look at those of us who are currently single for choices we've made of what not to put up with, you know, and they're like, oh, well, sometimes you just have to like give and take, and it's like, well, I don't need to emotionally be the spot for two humans in a relationship.
Yeah.
If you choose to do that, that's fine.
Definitely. I mean,
Yeah.
well, we all put up with what we want to put up with, right?
Right.
For as
So-
long as you
But
can.
clearly there's
Yeah.
a lot. But clearly there's a lot. Like, this wouldn't be an article.
Oh yeah. And you know, I think, and opinions are opinions.
Yeah.
Everybody's got one, you know.
And they're not wrong or right.
They're not wrong or right.
No.
I feel like, as a society, this is kind of like guys. Some of you, not all men,
Right.
but some of you asked for this. Some of you asked for this. You didn't realize you were asking for this, but let's be honest. You know, there was this traditional, old school idea of relationships where women stayed at home in the kitchen and took care, were the emotional support labor person of the whole family,
Mm-hmm.
and all the man had to contribute was money, and
All you wanted to contribute was money.
all you wanted to contribute, and that's, you know, if that's what you want to do, but it's there's your partnership and your agreed upon terms.
Mm-hmm.
And then as society progressed and women were able to work and men realized that it could take some of that load off of them, which I'm not saying is a bad or a good thing. It is what it is.
Just how it's
It's just how
transpired.
it's transpired. Women then got out of the household and they're like, oh, well, you can help out. We can have two income household. It's a lot better. And so women took on the burden of, well, I say burden, took on the role of also providing financially, and then, but men didn't pick up any of the emotional support.
No.
Mm-mm.
And it's like,
Mm-mm. Women just got an extra job.
so, and as a society, this whole like gold digger trope came out. And I'm not saying that doesn't.
Honey, let me buy you a drink. You gold digger.
I mean,
Okay,
and
bro.
I'm not saying that there are manipulative people on any area
yeah.
of the gender spectrum.
Yeah.
There always have been. There always will be.
Always have. But then it became, well, gold digger this, gold digger that. So women got the message of, okay, well, then I'm not going to ask you for anything.
Nope.
Have it. I'm
Yeah.
not going to ask you for anything. I'm going to do it on my own. Then women started going, wait a minute, hold on. Hold on, wait, I got to do the money and the emotional support. So now what? I'm your mother?
Mm-hmm. And you're asking me for dinner?
And when is the...
And to clean your drawers?
Yeah.
No.
I think the emotional investment that is required by a lot of men is a little overboard.
Yes.
And they don't even recognize it.
No, and I think I think it's like a reprogramming of DNA, right? That hasn't happened yet.
Right.
Like, it's still the early transition phases of where, we do evolutionize, in my opinion, like, with different things. And I think that's internal, too, as well as external adaptability factors. And so I don't think that's caught up with where we're at in society. And we're in, like, this weird middle phase that you just described. But, like... And I'm hoping it will catch up one day. So, like, this article, I'm like, okay, maybe that's a step in the right direction.
Right. Well, and I think, too, that so much of women's worth at one time was tied to their ability to have a relationship or
Yes.
be in
And
a
it's-
partnership with a man or...
And that's
I mean,
still
that still carries
very,
through.
that's still hanging on.
Yes,
Yeah, it still
it is.
We're
carries through.
yes, like we all know we're transitioning from that, but it's still there, I think, a lot more than people acknowledge.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, yeah.
then it's like,
Single women acknowledge it.
yes, yes, but you know
I'm
what
like,
I
we're
mean.
fully aware.
And
Well-
but we feel how it's still gripping society.
Yeah. I think, though, that the difference is that women who have realized that this and decided that they don't want to play into that are the single women who are not either they're getting into relationships and really not realizing that they're not fulfilling and they're not and getting out of them, or they're realizing that there are things in the front that are red flags
Yeah.
and not engaging, cutting it out early. And so those are the women who are single
Mm-hmm.
for the most part. I think you always have, these trollish men who think that it's because they can't get anybody or the woman can't get anybody.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yes.
But 90% of the time it's a choice, sir. I'm sorry to tell you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
because it doesn't, I don't think it matters who you are. There's,
Somebody for everybody.
And like I've said too, I think this kind of goes along with that. How you're saying, it's a matter of choosing what we're willing to put up with. Like,
Mhm.
is this bringing or taking away from me more? Like, where's the balance for me individually?
right.
With my own life, happiness by myself, and whether you're adding for it or you're just draining.
Absolutely.
But that also goes back to, I think, women who aren't, like, driven to have children to feel fulfilled. Like, we date differently, in my opinion. For myself, at least, I think that's true. Because I'm like, well, I'm not worried about...
How long it takes.
Yes, like, I'm not on a timeline, quote unquote, for my happiness, because that's not something that I've always wanted to do. And so I don't know. Does that make sense? I'm not
It
putting
does
it
make
into
sense.
words,
Makes
so-
Yeah.
sense. No, I think it makes sense.
We have different experiences because I did feel the pressure of the timeline and got married to someone that I shouldn't have, and it ended up divorced in less than 2 years.
That's a quick turnaround. Yeah.
That's a quick turnaround. That's a quick turnaround. 2 weeks is a quick turnaround.
So,
Who is Mike, by the way, that I forgot.
but it took that, right, to realize that my life and my self-worth was not tied to this idea of a timeline that I had in my mind. And not because necessarily anybody specifically put that on me.
Right. It's not a conversation ever had.
But I can,
it's just...
I can remember being like, okay, elementary school, because they always tell you, okay, well, we're giving you so much homework because we're preparing you for high school. And then you get to high school and they're like, well, we're doing this to prepare you for college. And then colleges, we're doing this to prepare you for life. And the next step, like when you get married, when you have your family, it was always, you always heard this like next step.
Like it's a timeline you're supposed to check
like
off.
there's these boxes to be checked for. And it kind of blew up in my face.
Well, I don't think you're alone, not to take away from your experience.
No, I don't think I am either. And I know I'm not, because I've, had many conversations with different people about it, but it was probably like the best thing that ever happened was that my life blew up in my face.
Mm-hmm.
Because once that timeline was literally decimated,
Freedom!
I had nothing.
Freedom!
Like, I had to figure out how to reconstruct my life in a way that
wasn't taught to you or displayed to you, or
wasn't like I felt like I had all the opportunity to decide what I wanted from life.
Yeah. Then it becomes for the first time you're actually like, oh, me.
Right.
What do I want?
What is going to fulfill
me
and my purpose and what I feel like what is my purpose?
Mm-hmm.
It was the first time I asked myself, what is your purpose?
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that's a big thing with women, because you're always so...
because
it's
you feel like your purpose is to reproduce. I mean,
or be somebody's good partner or something, or
right, like, and always giving to others.
Yeah, and even when you get into these dynamics, like I've got a lot of friends who are moms and wives and stuff, and they're like, oh, I do this, and I'm like, that's a lot, like.
It is a lot.
So it's always,
and then
more
power to
they
them.
often say at the end of the day, like, oh, now that I get to sit on the couch and my body's back to being mine, because it just has been a servant to, my family all day long, whether that be my husband, my kids, whatever. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like we get so stuck in that thought process that we never actually go, what are our dreams? What do we want to do? What do we like?
Yeah.
Or it takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, that goes back to even, like, we're on a newer timeline of, like, even women having jobs. Like, it's all the same. Like, things outside of the expectations of a lady in a family to, like, what now they are now that we're outside of that realm, which goes into first it was, like, working, and then, like, yeah, what you're saying, like, now more of, like, well, what, like, I can think outside of the box of that even. And
Definitely.
just think for myself.
What do I want to do? Definitely.
What's very interesting to me is this, I don't know, maybe it's a rare breed, but I've run across a few.
Are they a ground bird breed?
I mean, they're close. This
What is it? Stripey
snipe.
Oh,
Here's Snipey Snipe.
Swiper, no swiping.
So, this, like, breed of wanna-play house man. And
It runs deep.
wanna play house.
I don't want you to be my girlfriend. And they're so weirdly vocal about it, too. It's like the weirdest.
That's what makes me the most uncomfortable.
I'm like, what in the... Do you hear... If I pulled this bullshit with you, you would be sitting there looking at me like I was fucking crazy.
Just hold me.
Right.
Well, okay, yeah.
Hold
give a
me,
little.
but let me not say good morning to you. Let's go out on dates. But, like,
no.
if you even so much as think you're my girlfriend.
I'm talking about the man who who wants the one night stand. He wants you to come stay at the hotel with them. He wants you to be there.
His piece for the evening.
And it's just hold me. But then won't have a conversation at all until the next time he needs you to just hold me. But he's like a dick in the streets.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Like,
it's like I won't say good morning to you, but can I lay up on your chest and cry and tell you all my fucking woes? No, bitch.
Like,
no.
What?
Yep.
Tell me you love me. I'm like, what?
Yep. It's crazy. But it's funny because it's like their vulnerability meter is so off that it's like, it's all the way as if we've been married for 30 years dumping on me. But then you're like, oh, what's your name? Don't ever talk to me again. Cool. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, yo, y'all.
It's almost like they're using testers for their vulnerability. Like, they are like, well, what does it feel like to be vulnerable? But they don't know how to do it. So they're like, there's no middle ground.
Right,
it's 0 to 100, and they're just like doing it on to them a safe space, which is someone that maybe won't bring it up to them tomorrow for whatever reason.
Well, it's just like going to the hair salon, dude. That's like, I hate to like use this analogy, but dudes treat like sexual encounters and one night stands like a fucking hair salon. It's like you come in and you'd rather tell your shit to a stranger, so they're like, yeah, get on in here. I'm gonna wine and dine you to come in and give me an hour of therapy time and also some nuts. Like, the fuck
And
is
it's part
this?
of the
This isn't the hair salon. This isn't the barbershop.
It's part of too like the whole F-boy thing, which it's funny because you can argue like that's a good way to argue it, whereas in my brain I argue it as they think that makes you feel like you can trust them, like they're using it as a weapon against you
to manipulate. I think it's really unfortunate because I think a lot of men don't know how to be emotionally available, and that's
because of society.
Like,
yeah,
and no one's saying,
and that's and there are, and I've heard men say like, part of the problem is that there are women who say they want us to be emotionally vulnerable, but when we are, they look at us in our faces and call us names or like tell us to man up, and they've gotten that double thing, and that's absolutely wrong. Like, don't tell a man you want him to be vulnerable with you if you can't fucking handle him being vulnerable with you.
Yeah, good. Amen.
Like,
I like it emotional.
But so I think a lot of them are like, okay, well, it's a sexual act. She's like full of hormones and emotions, and so am I, and so I want to lay here and get the cuddles and suck her fucking energy out of her, her emotional energy, and then I'm going to go off over here and to this other person, and I'm going to suck their energy. Oh, yeah, and then they go to someone else and take a little bit and take a little bit. But they never, if they do that, then they get all their needs met while never having to put anything out to anybody else.
Yep.
No, and everybody else is getting
They're just grazing. They're grazing.
That's why I call playing house. You want to come in, pretend boyfriend, maybe go out to eat in a city where people ain't going to know you, even if we do go out together. Like, never have any ties to each other, really.
Yep. And keep it at enough distance that
I can always say, well, I mean, I didn't want it.
Exactly.
I didn't want a relationship. I told you I never wanted
I said it from the beginning. Oh, God.
Did you, though? Are you sure you did?
I just have no patience.
Yeah. They're just grazing around, getting everything, all their whatever. Like you're saying.
And they dive in deep.
Like go to therapy.
Yeah. Because
she'll listen to everything. Or
and
he or whoever.
Is, how many times have you gotten into those situations and you felt on your own, like, and maybe not you, Steph, because you're like, oh, I'm like, fuck you very early. There's been times where I've actually been in those situations and I'm like, wow, you're going, like, you're really quick. You're really early on all this stuff. Like, this is a lot of emotions. Like, you want me to do a lot for you, and I barely know you, and I've thought about that, and I've not said anything, and they still end up acting like a fucking dick and doing something to make you regret not walking away from it earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's been people who are like, okay, well, I feel bad that you're in this situation, so I'll let you emotional dump for a little bit longer. And then, like, they got to trump it by, like, fucking someone you know or something. Like, it's like, they really got to drink it into the ground. I'm like, why? Like, I thought this was weird from the beginning, and I should have just fucking walked away. Because I've been thinking, this is weird, this is weird, this is red flag, this is red flag, and now you've just completely lit a bomb for no reason. Like, no one even cares. You don't like me, I don't like you.
In a relationship, you can clearly have emotional needs and, like, moments where, but if you're starting it off this way, like, then you're not in a place that you're ready to get into a healthy relationship anyways, is how I look at it. Like, if you want to just start with this with me, like, that's not the tone I'm trying to set.
Yeah, but I'm not even saying looking for a relationship, because most of the time I come into the situations where someone's playing house, I can already see you.
Oh,
like, just because I'm showing up and I'm doing whatever in that moment doesn't mean that, like, I'm naive or you're getting one over. I'm not even thinking about dating you. That's why I think it's funny that they like completely shit all over everything, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're destroying a relationship that's not here. That you created because you wanted an emotional dump on me, and now I'm just sitting here like, what the fuck just happened?
A million times, and then they still want to be like, and then they'll say like, well, I never wanted anything. And I said, well,
no shit, Sherlock, neither did I.
I didn't either, but because you started to catch feels, now you have to backpedal because I don't like you because we started off this way. I think sometimes that's part of it, where it's
Definitely.
like, well, no, of course this is casual, but then now all of a sudden you're being like, well, I can't ever see you again.
Right.
And it's like,
Who's talking relationship? Just because you've been playing relationship doesn't mean I don't want to date you. You
Yeah.
seem like a goob. And like you need therapy and have to work some
Like,
things out.
that's really,
Which is fine.
it's really funny if you thought I was interested in making this something
I'm like,
more.
well, funny thing about this is we've been on the same page the whole time. You're
Right.
just spinning like a top.
Yes, but somehow all of a sudden you woke up on a completely different chapter. I didn't. You did. Like,
And you know, I can understand why it happens, but even that, like I've definitely been in relationships where I'm like, listen, I understand society does this. I understand it's hard for you to talk about your emotions. I understand you don't know how to control anger. You know, whatever these cases may be. And I've tried to be very vulnerable with people in my past, and it's like there's still something that it's like I don't even know what that is. I'm just like, you still don't want it. Like, you could have a girl who is willing to do all these things and be like, hey, I can understand that this is what this is, and give you the pass even for why you act in the way you do. And
But
it
they
still
don't-
doesn't, you know what I mean? Like,
because I think a lot of
they
it
still don't want to
is
open up.
admitting
No.
that there's something to
Yeah.
open up over.
Yeah.
I think that's like sometimes the hardest step for all humans that
Mhm.
are struggling with what.
Maybe that's
Vulnerability.
Yeah, like they don't
evolutionizing
even.
into.
Yeah, that's part of the what I think is like why the next like Gen whatever Z is even a little better at emotions because it's already started
Mhm.
to like trickle down from an earlier age in society and like the DNA reprogramming and stuff like that. I think we're just unfortunately
In that
stuck in the middle.
transition.
Yeah,
Mhm.
which is
Interesting.
frustrating and interesting and kind of fun and kind of not.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean, I don't mind it.
yeah, I'm here for
I've enjoyed all of it.
yeah.
Honestly, even the things that have been quite interesting, I've always learned something off it, or it has brought a different understanding to my life to where I'm like, this was, you know, maybe less than desirable while going through it, while my emotions were involved, because that's always, you know, it hurts or it's hard or whatever. But then afterwards, I'm like, what an interesting life we live.
Right. I agree, like,
this is
there's-
so interesting.
Like there's not regrets, they're always just lessons, and even if it takes a minute to figure it out, like
Yeah.
there's always going to be something that comes from
Mhm.
all of our interactions.
Mhm. Life is a vortex. It's just that I don't, like, it's so funny because sometimes I don't remember the placements and I just wake up and I'm like, oh, I'm blessed. Thank you. Whew, you've got me through some sticky situations.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
think back to some stuff.
Whew. Whereas I don't, and with ADHD, like this lifestyle, I don't know how I would have fared in the, like, you would have stuck me in a house all the time, dude. Like, I'm built for this time. Like, yes, please. Me back then, like, I'm a good homemaker. Like, I like to clean. Like, when I love somebody, I really like taking care of people. So I think that I could, like, do that aspect of it. But, like, that level of punchy, like, there's not enough crafts in the house, dude. I would go nuts.
Yeah, you could go to the
Or me and my
bridge
kids would
parties at
have cool-
another house.
I'd be making fun things with kids, probably. My kids and me would do some
Yeah,
weird
I'm
shit.
like I was already imagining
Never
you having
mind.
little craft sessions
Yeah,
and art
I'd
sessions.
take that all back.
and-
Me and my kids, I'd make like fun
music.
little things hanging from the ceiling.
Well,
My husband would come home, it would be like
plays.
Santa's
Here's the deal.
workshop.
Here's the deal, though, that people don't talk about a lot is that those women who were housewives were medicated.
A lot of them were, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They were martini alcoholics.
Well, that's
Valium.
fun.
I'm one without the children.
Yeah.
I'm one with the children without adults. For the adult children, that's why I need it.
And like Valium vultures and,
Listen.
you know,
all those like what they had all kinds of
like amphetamine pills and
Yeah.
stuff, like diet pills. And then you got the Valium because it made you too jittery.
Mm-hmm.
And they were Stepford wives. A lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Not all, but a lot of
Right,
them.
not everybody, but it was more than I think people.
Yeah, they were
realize.
handing out.
Mhm.
They were handing out benzos like they were candy.
I was gonna say,
everybody
yeah.
got one.
They had like benzos written in old articles about shit. Like they were full blown like hand her a Benz.
That's why
But
their
especially
faces are
with like Marilyn Monroe
Mhm.
and then like all them like they openly talked about how in Hollywood they would just hand them amphetamine
She's
pills like keep
histrionic.
it going like she's histrionic. The history of history of history of history.
But yeah, I
Histrionic
mean
from
that's
history.
kind of what that word or
Mm-hmm.
whatever came by. Which it's funny too, because you were like talking about evolution and our DNA or whatever, and when we were talking earlier about like survival, like women were already probably putting the fake blood in because it was their life, and like how we're just always on this like survivor edge. I do think like that's probably contributed to how modern women brains are so different than men brains. I mean, there's a lot of factors, don't get me wrong, but I bet that plays into some of the way we think and our critical thinking and our like.
It's always about survival.
Yeah.
I feel like for most women,
Yeah.
I hate to say all women but I think this is a statement that could apply to all women. I think that our decision-making process is always through the lens of safety.
Yeah.
Always. Even if you haven't had anything unsafe happen to you, it is always through the lens of safety.
I think that's definitely a lot of us, and I think it's funny because I have some friends who clearly don't process their surroundings, and I'm talking about like day-to-day stuff. Like
Not aware.
Yes, and so I think that I'm always like, that's so funny because that's not how my brain works. Like, and it doesn't, whatever, potato, but yeah, I think mine comes from what you're talking about, which is all three of us too. Like that, just safety somehow is programmed in us to always be aware, always be like looking out, always being on the defense and stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's head on swivel.
Everything. Head on a swivel. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's,
walking your car, walking a dog, going
in
somewhere.
the grocery store.
Even in the OR.
Your purse in your basket and like or not or where is it? Always got your hand on it. Like there's
Yeah, well,
my walk with my cart is hysterical. I wrap my net around, and it's funny because before I leave my apartment, I grab my backpack through the net and pull it and see how it's. Oh, that'll be real entertaining because they're gonna drag my fucking cart down the road.
Yeah, especially now that you're
Bare
downtown
minimum,
or
I'm gonna
whatever.
laugh. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and we talked about earlier how when we lived in cities and did take public transportation or like another day, how we're always
I
like,
had wild deterrence to get through the L.
oh yeah, like I'm not, even if I have my headphones in, there's nothing playing.
I got my no.
'Cause
But they're
I
tucked in and they're in, and I'm down and I'm bebobbing.
And I'm listening to what's going on around me. Like, I'm not listening to anything for my own satisfaction. I'm on the like awareness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you come at me.
And I always keep my eyes at a certain level to where I guaranteed I'm not going to make eye contact, but all my peripherals still can see. Mm-hmm. And then I would always get my tickets in Jersey. I would do my round trip because I almost got robbed for coins the one time. That was like my first. Listen, it was my own fault. I should have known better. I was wildly like greened to the whole entire system. And I walked down there and I'm not even thinking about it. Whip out a 20 and go to get like the tokens for the week. Dude comes up and he's like, give me your tokens. And I'm like, and I didn't even, if I would, in the midst of me turning around to look at this man, I had already said no. Like, where my spunk came from, I don't know, but I'm like, no. I turned around and looked at him, I'm like, oh, fuck me. Like, this is going to be terrible. And thank God I was at the one stop. They've got like a stop that there's a Dunkin'. And so there's a security guard that, not even all the time, but sometimes would stand there. And he instantly seen it and was like, yo, I'm going to need you to move along. And like walked over and I'm like, I will never pull cash out under here ever a fucking again. Like, it was like a vulture. It was like a fry to a seagull.
In my pocket.
Yeah. Dude, seriously, I didn't see him previously. I'm just like, you're going to give me them tickets. I'm like, no, I'm not. Where the fuck did you come from? How did you get this close to me?
up here
From the bottom. Yeah, it was really crazy. So I was like, nope.
Those ground dwelling birds.
Mm-hmm. Multiple faceted chicken stories. We went from chicken facts to chicken stories.
So yeah.
We should order some fried chicken.
Chicken biscuit. Few fries. Pig.
I love pigs.
This is my pig noise.
Nailed it. Nailed it. That's a good one. I like that. Those miniature pigs are just like starved pigs that are.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
There's like micro mini pigs.
Yeah, they're just on strict diets. If you actually fed them properly, they would turn into fucking pigs, like regular pigs. They're just malnourished pigs. For every one of you who have them, they're malnourished pigs.
This may be a dumb question,
Makes
but
me feel so bad.
are they kept like in a box? Like, you know how they're like if a goldfish
No, you just
gets in a
only
bigger...
give them certain food.
They're like,
Oh.
it's strictly
pigs-
this much a day
Pigs
or whatever.
free freed.
But let me tell you,
Like they just like to eat.
I had a
Like pigs are
friend-
literally pigs. Like you
Right.
go out there, you could throw them over and over, and they're
Pigs
back
are pigs.
Yeah,
years
dude.
ago, I had a friend that had one of those, not for very long, but
makes me sad.
she ended up with one. I think probably because theirs got bigger. Anyway, but
'Cause
that thing.
And it always does, because how many people are like, oh, give
Gonna-
the
Yeah.
dog the treat that it
Yeah.
can't have. So you're like,
Yeah.
oh, you want a
Um,
treat? You want a treat? Next thing you know, there's a boar in your living room.
So, but those things will like suck on your toes and like bite your toes if you're wearing flip flops. It was the weirdest shit.
Who,
I
piggies?
those micro mini pigs.
Because
Like,
they're
you'd be
hungry.
You'd
Yeah,
be
they're
sitting
hungry.
They're
there.
starving.
You'd be sitting at a table
that
and
a
all of a
sausage?
sudden.
It's like, I'll take anything
It's
at
a
this
micro
point.
sausage, just like me.
It'd like be nibbling on your toes.
Damn.
Oh, I got to. I probably
Sorry.
don't.
I'll get
They
it, I'll get
nibbling
it.
on your toes.
Toesies.
I'm like, I just put my chin.
Well, I was like, what? You put your leg through it.
Well, how damn.
Was it really like?
That was bound to happen. I can't sit still. You see me over
It's
here?
gonna happen at any point. It's gonna happen, you know.
Just
Yeah,
stuck
I have
your
to-
foot through it.
I'm like, I will get an Indian
Those
style
are
one
like,
way or
look,
another.
these are like they're made just like the old lawn chairs
They
from
are.
like the 80s. So
I would
It's
read
really funny
that
when
my-
it slowly unravels and I just fall through.
my mom's rewoven the same ones 90 times. Like, they just don't make a beach chair this height anymore. That's what she says. It's just, you can't find, it's the perfect height and you can't find this height anymore. She had me do it, and even as a kid.
They
I'm
just
like,
don't make beach chairs like they used to.
She's had it since before I
That
was
is my
born, I
favorite.
think.
That is adorable. I hate aerodynamics chairs.
oh,
We've talked about this.
those are the bane of everyone's existence.
I hate them. And you always think you like them because the color of them.
And then like you can't talk to anybody because they're like this, and you're like, hey, how's it going over there?
How does my-
Or you're like you're using your abs to sit
You
up.
just sit straight up, right? Like you can never relax. At attention the whole time.
I also have short legs, so I'm like,
Does this one have a power control unit?
So you're just out here straight up.
I'm like,
How's it going?
You gotta have a footrest with those.
Yeah. They're wildly uncomfortable.
shorty.
Shorty.
Oh, I have a fun fact
Okay, here. Let's
About-
start it. Okay.
about women. The original vibrator was a medical device created to treat hysteria in women.
Histrionics.
They would go in once a
Sin-
week while a doctor masturbated them to completion so that their hysteria would be treated. I'm sure I would be more hysterical every day. I need to go to the doctor, honey. I'll be right back.
I can't believe that they really controlled us to that point. Like, we couldn't just come on our own. Like, what the fuck? You gotta do that for me, too? That is some fucked up
Up
shit.
in stirrups.
It is, yeah.
What the fuck?
It's basically like
Yo.
the,
And if I don't go, I'm just hysteria. I'm in hysteria.
You are hysterical because you need some. But don't teach men to give you one. Your husband at home.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
'cause
That's
I
why
want-
you are hysterical.
Right.
because I want you to
Y'all
come.
think the bean is on my kneecap.
Well, some people have only had sex with one person their whole life, and that's okay. Like a virgin. Woo!
So, AKA, it turns into very much similar to how the cock has sex with the chicken.
Full circle.
Full circle, back to the chicken hen talk.
And the male chickens don't even have to know which hole to stick it in.
Right.
Ba-da-ba.
They just drop it. I think it's like they just drop an egg.
Oi, 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 oi.
They just drop a slime ball into the hole and it goes.
It's only one place to aim.
It's a lot of feather fluffing.
It is.
a lot of
I
feather
don't know
flies.
what a cock's cock looks like though.
Because it's little and it goes in there. It's probably similar to the
Does it
spur.
even
I don't know what
come
it looks
out?
like either.
You know,
Or
I
does
don't
it just
know.
like open a hole and you just
I'm
pop
just
it
very
in?
mad about them.
But also full circle.
I've watched too many, like, and the women hens just make such a
Fluffing.
noise when it happens. Like, they don't
Oh,
seem.
I haven't.
It's like, then it's over, and they're like, and then fluff their shit, and then they go sit in a
That
dirt
was
pile
good.
and put their feathers in a dirt pile. Which, if you don't know, a lot of birds and things wash themselves in dirt,
Dirt,
especially chickens, so
Yeah.
they do dirt baths. So It's actually
It's like
hysterical.
they're taking a bath.
Yeah,
after they
you
got
watch it
raped.
happen. They scream. They run over and they're like all in the dirt, and then they get up and they're like, back to finding my fucking insect. Like, this was dumb. It's like the epitome of when you're doing something and you're in a long relationship. You're like, I got wash to do. Like,
Yeah, and then they go,
Can
that
we
one's
stop?"
not going on the list.
but he's usually the only one on the fucking field, which is the more annoying thing because you can't have too many.
But apparently they
They
don't
fight
have
too
good
much.
long-term memory, so maybe they forget that it's the same one.
Something about the fact that you're defeathered from here to here makes me feel like somebody's gonna hit you on the corner store and go, Nancy.
They pull their
You're really
feathers.
Bob's favorite.
Sometimes
They're
they do.
bald. Cause so they grab. Oh my god! They grab a hold of them with their fucking legs, in their back, like, shing, and grab a hold of them.
So it's their
and then just
claws are
let
up
them
here,
loose.
and
Like
that's
they do.
I
They
think
just
so.
jump
And
on
then they
them.
like squat and hang their butts over the whole. I don't know exactly.
It's very interesting because I'm like, I don't know how your feet. You only got 2 of those.
I'm not
I don't know how
intrigued
your
enough
feet
to
get
Google
all the way
images.
up here, but you managed to get that whole caboose all back there and be able to work it. All while, and they hold on, like they don't let go until it's over. It ain't over till it's over. It's very weird. You should YouTube it.
How long does it take, approximately?
Seconds.
Okay,
Seconds.
that's what I
They're
assumed.
quick pump.
That's what I assumed.
Half pump chomps.
It's more feather loss than anything. That's what I'm saying. Like they're just bald. That's why I say they walk around with a scarlet A. It's just a bald patch.
Well, I mean, they do say the only
You can't
other
deny who's the favorite, I guess.
species that they can prove has sex for pleasure is dolphins.
Yeah. Oh.
Don't get
Dolphin.
me started.
I
Are
have
you
some-
gang banging
I have
motherfuckers?
some. Did you?
Dolphins are ruthless.
Yeah, and did you ever hear the story of? I forget who it was.
Say his name. The dolphin fucker.
I can't. I don't know. Is this the same?
That dude who's in love with Dolly. Dolly the dolphin fucker.
Oh, there's that. No, this is another
This is a
one.
different one.
This
There's
was like
more?
in the Bahamas. I'm not gonna get all the details right. Like this has been years since I've heard it. Yeah, and then
Is it
we'll
a man
follow up
with
with
a
the more
dolphin?
recent one. No, it's a woman. So like years ago, I'm not gonna have all the information correct. Somebody, a U.S. company, was doing like psychedelic based research like in the 70s in the Bahamas. Like they had like a lab down there or whatever.
Intriguing.
And so they wanted to like study dolphins and language of dolphins. So they were more so like the communication. So they set up this like thing where they hired this lady, and I forget what her background was, but it wasn't anything worthwhile. And
She's like, I like psychedelics.
yeah, basically, I don't know.
You'll pay me $30 for the study? Sign me up.
And I guess they were giving. Now I'm like, now I don't even remember where the psychedelics came in, but I know
The
it was
dolphins
something
took
during that.
them?
That's what. That's now I'm not even going to talk about the psychedelics at all. So this is getting great.
Psychedelics out, dolphins in.
So they had this like communal living space where the dolphin, like they were like, we want you to spend a lot of time together. The point was she was teaching this dolphin English, basically, like spoken language and specifically English because that's what she spoke. And so it was like lessons, but she like slept in there, like she, like they had a room, like the pool part was here and then came over where it was like standing water, and then like up higher she had room without water, and they were like just living in there together, and she was teaching in language, and that part was going well, like there was like good information, but then they had to throw that information away. The psychedelics might have been a whole other research. It might have just been, anyways.
Two things are coming together.
Yes, but they had to throw all their research away because then it came to found out that she was jerking him off. Because he
She taught him English, and the first thing he said was, baby, let me get a hand job.
so,
Well, since you learned all this English,
so I've been
I mean,
listening to the guys talk over there.
his story is great.
But she argued that he would get sexually charged, and she could tell it was sexual because the dolphin was distracting from the lessons and like coming on to her. It just helped things get along so then they could get on with.
Let's focus with the lesson, Jerry. Get over here and
Well, I'm sure he learned how to get that
Right. You're teaching
He
him another
manipulated
lesson.
it.
You're teaching him a different language.
Now he knows how to manipulate and also English.
They maybe should have at least just gone over Pavlov's dogs with you, ma'am, before you were stuck
Did
in here to train
research.
a dolphin in the 70s.
Like, did the dolphin, like, did he try to, like, mount her? And so she
I'm
was
sure.
like,
She's like, no, we won't do that. I'll use my hand.
Here's my hand.
Yeah, this is,
At
listen.
least she didn't use her mouth.
But who's to say?
So, yeah, they had to throw that research out the window.
It was a guy who fell in, there's a whole documentary.
And he talks straight up about it. Like, he's like, we had a love affair. She died of a broken heart after you separated us. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oy, 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 oy.
So in the 70s, you ready? You ready for the name?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Do you have
I
your?
wish we had a drum roll. Well, I'm going to do it over here since I'm going to keep your eardrum.
Malcolm Brenner.
Would have never
Malcolm
guessed that.
Brenner, yeah.
He was doing a freelance photography assignment at Florida Land in Sarasota, Florida, and met Dolly, and they had an almost spiritual experience.
So it was like a one-night stand?
No, it was a love affair.
Well, so reportedly, this is quoted by Brenner, Dolly flipped over to present her genital slit.
and
She would rub her teeth on him in an erotic way. So it took a while, though. Remember, he said they tried for like a while to make it
'cause
happen.
he's like, in the water, there's nothing. He goes even to say, like, when you're on a bed, you got some spring back action. When you're in the water, you ain't got no, like, motion in the ocean.
Too much motion in
Too
the
much
ocean.
motion in the
It
ocean.
was,
Well, not only that, but it's slow. Have you ever tried to move your hand fast underwater? Like, you're like, how is that, Dolly?
They had a 6-month love affair.
It's a
Yeah.
long time.
And he was seduced by her.
Yeah, it's her fault. The narrative we all know. Heard that before.
Mhm.
So this is not something, like, this is out there. He
Mm-hmm.
is proud to be inside the head of someone who has zoophilia. So
I might have to put that on my
Your
watch
list?
list. It's
Yeah.
not going to be at the top, but it'll be like hanging out in the
Some in
middle.
there.
It'll be in there.
It'll
One
be
of
in
those
the
off
middle.
days.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll have to be in the right mood.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, who knew so many dolphin lovers out there?
It's very interesting if you
I'm just mind shocked.
Hashtag humans too. Sorry, it's too soon.
Is it too soon?
They came on to me. It's a different effect, but
That is actually hysterical. It may be too soon, but it's still
that's
hysterical.
not my fault.
Back to the chickens.
Or ground birds.
More ground birds,
More
yeah,
ground
birds. The theory of this is birds.
flightless birds.
Mm-hmm.
Bird,
Well-
bird, bird. Bird is a word.
Bird, bird, bird.
What's
Which
your
goes-
favorite bird? Oh, I like this. What's your favorite bird?
I was like, I had another bird
I'd have
tangent.
to think about it, and you can just do like,
I have a bird tangent.
okay.
Fluffing. When you were talking about
Fluffing?
Okay,
Fluffing?
things just got real serious.
Yeah, I was like,
but
isn't that a
like-
porn, like
the ones that
fluffers
keep them
for
hard.
porn?
Yeah, but
It's
when you
like-
were talking about the chicken sex, then I was like, and you said feathers, like my brain just went to like
Maybe that's where they
fluffing.
came up with fluffing.
Yeah, then I was like,
It looks like a pillow exploded. I want to be
onomatopoeia.
feathers.
It's an onomatopoeia.
It's an onomatopoeia. It's an anemone. Interesting. I wonder, that's so... I don't feel like I know enough about fluffing.
I always thought it was
I thought it was the person who kept on a porn
Porn
set.
stars.
yeah,
Mhm.
but I thought it involved a lot of oral sex.
Yeah, I
Oh.
mean, I think.
Oh, how annoying. It would.
Right.
It fucking would,
I think it
dude.
does, yeah.
A lot of
that's-
oral
You want this
stimulation.
job, it's just BJ's. The only BJ's.
All
All you can do
day.
is give me BJ's, yeah.
all day.
$20 a pop.
all the water you could ever want, though. We'll provide water. Like,
It's like, look, I got grade A BJ over here, so I'm gonna need compensation a little bit better.
Seriously. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
are you gonna miss my mouth when I'm gone? See, that's what I thought. Give me more money. just like causing havoc on the set, trying to like argue
Mouth
wages.
does more than just that. It talks too. Now pay up, motherfucker. That's so funny. What a terrible job. What a terrible job.
I'm not slobbing on a knob for pennies.
Beep.
I got PTSD and we've only
Cool.
recorded 4 episodes. This has been a blast.
This has been a blast.
It's just
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah.
Girl talk.
So fun. Please come back. Like shooting shit.
Cackety cack.
I love hanging out with the girls.
Yeah, it's nice, like refresh,
Mhm.
recharge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mary, thank you for coming.
Thanks for
Yes.
having me.
We
This
really
has been a
appreciate it.
pleasure.
We'll have you back anytime before November.
Thanks.
She will be
Should
not
we all
gone till
end?
November. She's not gone till November.
All right. Well, thanks for coming out to the episode. That was the Bunny Pen. We were so glad you came to check us out. Ready, set, chicken, chicken, bark, bark.
That was super quiet.
A group of badass chickens.
Locking it up.
Love that.